Hi, welcome to the Stuff of Life. I don't make these videos to run ads on your time or to monetize them. With the glut of information that we have these days, it's very easy for anyone who's average intelligent and can talk to create content. That's not the idea. I'm here for one reason, that is, and with my own reflections, and that is to pursue deep, provocative questions that are too often oversimplified. If something here resonates, it makes you pause or see things differently, do subscribe or hit the like button. It is simply a way of saying this conversation matters. With that, let's turn towards today's question. The question is the truth about why we avoid truth. There's a comforting story we like to tell ourselves, that people want truth, that truth is noble, that if you speak honestly, people will thank you for it. I'm not so sure that is true. I think the opposite is closer to the reality. Most people don't want truth. They want reassurance. They want to feel that they are right, that their choices make sense, that the story they have been telling themselves about their life still holds. Real truth is disruptive. Reassurance is soothing. And humans, by and large, prefer soothing. Let me explain. Think about the last time something really challenged you. Not something mildly uncomfortable. No, something that really hit the core of hit what you believe, your opinion of yourself. Not a different opinion on coffee or politics, but something that is struck at the core of how you see yourself. Something that suggested you might be wrong or mistaken or self-deceived. What was your first reaction? Was it curiosity or was it discomfort? For most of us, it is discomfort. We tense up, we defend it, we look for flaws in the argument. We question the motive of the person saying it. We don't ask, is this true? We ask, how do I make it go away? That's not because we are bad people. We mean no harm, right? That is because truth sometimes destabilizes, challenges, shakes our identity. And identity is difficult to build and even more difficult to rebuild. Truth asks a price. Sometimes the price is small, sometimes it is enormous. Sometimes it's to admit that you stayed too long in a relationship or chose safety over relationship or confused being busy with being alive. Truth might mean acknowledging that your anger isn't righteous, that your certainty isn't wisdom, that your suffering isn't unique. Now, that's not information. That's an earthquake. Reassurance, on the other hand, is cheap. Reassurance tells you it isn't your fault. You did your best. It wasn't your choice. Everyone would have done the same thing. Reassurance keeps the structure intact. Truth threatens to tear it down. So, people don't reject truth because it's false. They reject it because it's costly. Look at how we consume content today. Motivational quotes, life hacks, 10-step frameworks for happiness. Most of it doesn't demand anything serious from us. It reassures us that success is close, that clarity is one insight away, that fulfillment can be optimized. It really asks, what if the problem isn't effort but direction? What if the life you built no longer fits who you are? What if comfort is the very thing dulling you? Those questions don't tell reassurance, do they? No, they sell unease, and unease doesn't trend well. That's why truth tellers are often unpopular. Not because they are arrogant, not because they lack empathy, but because they refuse to collude. They won't pretend that every path leads somewhere meaningful. They won't sugarcoat the cost of avoidance. They won't offer certainty where none exists. They leave you alone with yourself, and that is uncomfortable. We say we value honesty. What we often mean is gentle affirmation. Tell me the truth, we say, as long as it doesn't disturb me, as long as it doesn't force me to change, as long as it doesn't implicate me. That's not truth. That's reassurance with better branding. There's another reason reassurance is so appealing. Truth is slow. Reassurance is immediate. Truth unfolds over time. It requires reflection. It often arrives quietly. Reassurance works instantly. It calms the nervous system. It restores a sense of control. It tells us we are okay, and in an anxious world, you're okay is powerful medicine. But like all medicine, it can be overused. Too much reassurance numbs us. It keeps us from asking harder questions. It turns growth into maintenance. We don't evolve, we stabilize. There's a subtle tragedy here. The more reassurance we consume, the less truth we can tolerate. We become brittle. Every challenge feels like an attack. Every disagreement feels personal. Every doubt feels dangerous. We start protecting our beliefs instead of examining them. And slowly, without noticing, we trade depth for comfort. This plays out in relationships too. How often do we say what is easy instead of what is necessary? We reassure our friends when they want validation, even when we sense they are repeating a pattern. We nod along, we empathize, we avoid the harder conversation, not because we don't care, but because truth risks friction, and friction risks connection. Yes, without truth, relationships become shallow, polite, safe, but not transformative. Reassurance preserves harmony. Truth creates growth, and growth is really harmonious. Now, let me be clear. This isn't an argument for brutality. Truth without compassion is cruelty, but compassion without truth is indulgence. The goal isn't to bludgeon people with honesty, it is to respect them enough not to lie, including lying by omission, including lying through silence. And where does that all begin? That begins with ourselves. Ask yourself, where in your life are you seeking reassurance instead of truth? Are there questions you avoid because you know where they lead? Are there answers you keep circling but never quite face? Are you consuming content that soothes you rather than challenges you. None of this makes you weak. It makes you human. My friends, awareness matters because reassurance feels good now. Truth pays off later. Truth paves the way for human progress, development, advancement. Without that, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be where we are today. There's a strange thing about truth. It often hurts at first, but it lightens you over time, individually, collectively. Earth is round. Over time, it lightens you. It broadens the path for you. Reassurance does the opposite. It feels good at first, but it quietly weighs you down. Truth simplifies, reassurance complicates. Truth cuts away what doesn't fit. Reassurance adds layers to protect what is fragile. And sooner or later, the structure becomes too heavy to carry. I think many of us sense this. We feel it as restlessness, as quiet dissatisfaction, as the sense that something is off even when things look fine. That is often truth knocking, tuck, tuck, tuck. Not shouting, not demanding, just waiting. Waiting for us to be ready to listen, to be ready to open the door unto it. So here's the uncomfortable part. No one can give you truth. Not really. Others can point, they can suggest, they can provoke. But truth has to be metabolized, like food. It has to pass through your experience, your reflection, like food passes through your gut, your intestines. It has to pass through your willingness to sit with uncertainty. Reassurance can be handed to you. Truth cannot. You have to metabolize. That is why reassurance scales, truth doesn't. And yet, when people finally do encounter truth, they often describe it the same way. Not as dramatic, not as explosive, but as clarifying. I knew this already, they say. I just didn't want to admit it. Truth usually doesn't surprise us. It reminds us of what we sensed, of what we avoided, of what we postponed. So why does this matter? Because the quality of our lives is shaped by the quality of questions we are willing to face. Not the answers we collect, not the affirmations we repeat, but the questions we don't rush to close. If we only seek reassurance, we live padded lives, comfortable, predictable, safe. If we make room for truth, we live more honestly, not necessarily happier, but clearer. And clarity over time has acquired dignity. Let me leave you with this thought. Next time when you feel resistance to an idea, pause. Don't ask whether it is pleasant. Don't ask whether it flatters you. Ask a different question. Ask whether it reassures me or reveals something. Because reassurance keeps you steady. Truth helps you grow. Like a child learning to walk is not as steady. You learning to ride a bicycle are not as steady. That's how truth takes you on a journey. It makes you unsteady, but it helps you grow. And while growth is unsettling, it often is the only thing that makes life feel real again. That is today's question. And if it stayed with you, it unsettled you a little, today's conversation did its job. I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Take care.